ene November bosome ne de toso enum e wa fimpi mienu ene aduonum enumu ye mamu nyina adwuma makwa ba e de mobile KFM TV ene so ye wukwada midweek na amuni entina cheso chena ye wada fiada shono ne de mo aba ewiye ensem ne do so ene anwumre semfo wato ne bo asepa de edi sefata se otie no waboaboa no asonso krogen se yentimi fambe so me sa kan kase no e don hwe ba kontemo ewo KFM TV esensem ne do so ene anwumre yen hwe de edi mo akotene no ebie Yodmunyamfo Justin Kujua Frimpon wakasa nsem no trama mpanyifo a wo che mu se kobasi ye che MPP amenyoko mpanyifo ni bia biola ye de to omutire so no eya na esonso dodo ho nsem ho a ena anwume me de besomo ewo kase no emu sanso ne ebekọ ya pobode nsem o nodmunyamfo kwabena minta akando akasa wo che mu se oba behwe ama wono mo ya dokitafo a ye de omo ekwa akọhwe saasue ye ho no emu ohamu ebupen e de owotwen ombe konkrase da kwa akọhwa me apomuden ho nsem no etimi akọ nani mo sanso na edwedie mu ye bebo awura mu na ne nyina no dwumedie ne hyehye no efa food and jobs initiative no and we are planting for food and jobs so penya ono da no aba bekasa wo kyerese ne nyina no niema hodo e wosi efem kosise ne nyina na ebetimi enya eho pomasibre no enya de esempanyifo aye no so nsem no betie ewo kase no emu sanso na enigidie emu eyo oforiamponsa wono so kyerese sisi ade kofo bebre na ekase wonyini da ye no kase kra wanyi we ra fisha na eduonum oni 50s na so no kyerese e yakom kire o ene otimi bu akonkyere ne saa na wotwe no na ama na ye fresh a wonyini da de bia na oya akola eno so ho nsem no ye de beba bedan o ewo kase no emu semfoforo bi no meka we hwane nyina na eboaboa no na yetimi de nyina no abremu ene enwumre na yemfa aseda ma aboafo sansa wo mo ahoden ne omusika ena ebo machido ma mesumetimi enya kase boni mo ahoden e de amanebo no e ba bedan wo talent microfinance e sikasem ho asem na medi ho adanse e de a chewe na enwumre enti sika bia wo hia bobra sika bia wo hia account de ho akenyan wo adwuma mu amenetimi agina na ma so agina konkon so se ne wo hwehwe no e ma fa so bebre beba so no wo se beje besianse wo kitwa bi da ho na fa ye adwuma obetete ne kakra bosumi bia odi bia akọ agina hyehye omo no obeye so no wi ade beka akiri no aba be ye odwetira de ba bebobra wo mo de sanhye ne gu ama Ghana ni di hye bia osikasem nkoyi afin so de wo bi wo mo hwe no mo nkra ne ye ma unya mfa anya hwe bia wo ho ebe basa eno so mo krasika e wo ho ko talent microfinance wono makache a ombehwa e bibia kama etimi edia mo nkrabata ne doso mantam du nsia ne memu nsia de o mahyatem mo bo adwuma pa denden de anya asenkutu akra okwa obehwa esikasem ne ntotoe na bia na etimi aye kama edia ma ye free ho ne akọ eye KFM Musical Center eno so ye instrument ho asem ena mebo ho dewru edia ma instrument bia wo hia bia no fiti speakers drums combos guitar microphones bibia fa instruments ne ho aka de bia no wotu nsa edia for titiri ne sorry ahodo ye be di bronya afa hye ene programs ahodo bebre na negu akwemu bomoden so be kwa akwaje odie na wa sorry ho no ebeye de na ehwo ye ni kanyina na efrefre dom atwehwe dom de amaw na emfa so de wosu bia wetimenya aha me kan se wo hu bibia enti wodia no se obekọ ye KFM Musical Center wono makache ko basa osu sikasem ne mbo ano a kotete ne kakra ebo ano pe no akwakofa wade eno ne hyehyeye omde gu akom ma obi bia na chese bibia etimi aye kama edia ma ope omechi akwan ne dia nkran mantem ha no wo mo akra zongo lane o asante mantem so abibia de wani be kire no eye dum wo mo ne Sambra Hotel no na ebo enimhwe wo fra obia unya instrument bia nyum to ofo obia samombra na mombeje bi yemfre oni enko dadaba take up eno so ye phone se ne ho akade phone bia ya tidin phone bia ye bodin phone bia nempo ni aye no ukopie mu dadaba obema obi na bibia no aye fine etimi dia ma ope bia cha odofo bi upe bia yusu upe bia tu akwa akoton ni nyina no kodadaba obema obi na cha akwan ne ye kaneshi nkarmansem he ya udru ye kaneshi bia ya omugina pa itakwa station e hye no dadaba take up owo wo bo adwuma tumi ni ahoden so kọ ha obema phones ni bina bibia no aye kama ebo no so de da form say kolem enyume komi ensen na enyume omobo mechi do mamde nsema hodo no mu ababe somwo kaination and soma sending time video no ye so live KFM TVGH on Facebook and YouTube uju YouTube na subscribe Facebook no follow na bibia netimi aye kama ama me enewo edin no eye Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia ye dan ye ho abasisia. Usama misanda semo akwa ababi mo bre no adaji a ode ba be ma me don hwe ba ko ntemo KFM TV eso na yen hye nsem na se na nwumre emfa ma ode nei nsem bi abobo e de free the new patriotic party MPP amenyoko no makachi aba na nsem ni mu nyina nche mu ne se nei se ne ye chi omo nkrofo binum a ekopie mu wo eye yokofo wo no makachi asika eye bill omo de to sa de hye binum etire so no eya na esoso edoso ye pa sanse sa sike uka se ni peyin bra metua pa fan free ho na bio se bio kwedo e de bo ne soso ni sika no tim se bo ebra pa empanyifo che se de bi de empanyifo e binum e ya e man pipi amenyoko no so ma de hye binum nya fa ahodi no enya de se ekoye twa ye kwa na sanse mu nya for Justin Kodua Frempon wono ene de sanse mu etudwa.
You recall that the new patriotic party had to cause a complaint against government-sponsored harassment and persecution of our members. The party held demonstration and numerous press conferences on the matter, reminding President John Mahama and his government that we are a nation of rule of law, and asked the NDC government to put a stop on their continuous weaponization of the state security and the judiciary against political opponents. Unfortunately, all our calls have fallen on deaf ears, but as a party, we shall not back down on our resolve to fight this injustice. It is increasingly concerning that the state security agencies continue to flout with impunity the Constitution of Ghana, particularly Article 14, on the grant of bail to persons arrested or detained. Our Constitution requires that persons who are arrested or detained be brought to the court within 48 hours or be released either unconditionally or on reasonable conditions as may be necessary to ensure that they appear at a later date for their trial. Thus, an accused person who is not tried within reasonable time is entitled to bail, irrespective of the nature of the alleged offense. However, friends from the media, you will agree with me that in recent times, certain developments certainly suggest the worrying trend where members of the new patriotic party are detained beyond the lawful limit, subjected to unreasonable bail conditions, and effectively denied justice. This practice contravenes Section 96 of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 30, 1960. And the Supreme
Monwanyam for Justin Kodua Frempon sign so the to draw watcher Musa Senye Yamamra ne ya Afia Pemahan Credio Crumie no yesinitra senior mamma Brano Timinia Juma or my Ghana Hano, a yade say yade ye boo amamrane nimtia pa san so be a fan who dear no. Who be here ye see a bois near crano near Bohom by Necobasi eti obi found with dear sweet eti obi and William Swa, and ya say to me, equa your beer more signs to see so daintia. A bill like the betu obi trace or no, okay, cabum cry a national cathedral, and penny 4 years and come be see a crano, etimi eye dru sa sika no che se da bi de mpanyifo ye no enko ye ntwa ye kura nti omo nhwe na se ne amama ne ye da da ni a ye di twitwi fom no ye ma ne nya adwuma e wo man Ghana.
You recall that the New Patriotic Party had to cause a complaint against government-sponsored harassment and persecution of our members. The party held demonstration and numerous press conferences on the matter, reminding President John Mahama and his government that we are a nation of rule of law, and asked the NDC government to put a stop on their continuous weaponization of the state security and the judiciary against political opponents. Unfortunately, all our calls have fallen on deaf ears, but as a party, we shall not back down on our resolve.
I was saying free sansem ni mo ye to aso onsem foforo mo etimi e dia ma ode na enwumre eye chief of staff onumunyafo Julius there braka cha wo chemu say wo ba be hwe na mpanyifo de niam egu akwema ye hyehyɛ se be aframante mo no niam ahodo wo so mo ye kekabo ma de hye ne temamfo mo habra bo betimi aya kono aye nika na ye kama na ye kra be hwe dia mo no wo mo ba be ye san hyehyɛ ni nyina no etimi e dia ma wo no.
John Dramani Mahama. And the vision is to establish what we call the voter economic zone. In his dream, he believes that all the water that runs from the north into the sea goes wasted. Therefore, if we are able to invest and to develop either banks of the river into agricultural production zones, whereby we will add agro-processing industries, factories, and create a zone where we'll be able to export and also to enable river transport between Ghana and the Sahelian countries. He believed that will go a long way to create a lot of jobs for the people in the Volta region and the people in Ghana as a whole.
Let this Obuchocho remind us that unity is strength, that our traditions are treasures to be guarded, and that our future as a people depends on the wisdom we draw from our past. On this day, Agwamuman stands with Ano in friendship, in solidarity, and in shared vision for the prosperity of our people and the progress of our nation, Ghana.
Education is the heartbeat of Anglo. For generations, our people have revered learning as a sacred duty and a ladder to progress. Yet, today, we face worrying reality, the steady decline in the quality of basic education across Anglo. Our schools lack teachers, teaching and learning materials, and basic infrastructure. Many children complete basic school and are unable to read and write proficiently. This should trouble every leader, every parent, every traditional authority. I therefore charge all Fiagao of the traditional areas under Anglo jurisdiction to take personal interest in the education of our children, to monitor, to inspire, and to mobilize local support for improving teaching and learning outcomes.
Ye free sansem ni mo no munya for George Opariado na eswa for hwe mebunu ye die so o man Ghana ha ne ne odin sembia ba betudwa eno fa wono mo motwi efidie tetafa ye friend so kada riders no say dispatch rider so do transfer akobia ya hodo awuko nyina no san kabomuko no wodin sembia akodi amom ni afi mebunu no wo chem se kwan hodo mu didi o mu dada adwuma ne hu behie ye pa say bedwemu ncheche ne niema binum bekoso sanse o hwe kwan binum ebi mu fa so eti na nanom wonse do hwe wonom nkwa enam ya kwan ne akwa ntempon ne so akwanhia hodo enu osisie ne hu behia ye pa sie be meye ni akosa asie ye ho na ya ye de sefata ebetimi aboa amom ye die ne so etimi akonkan.
January and August 2025, there were 1,937 road accidents, 10,957 injuries, 77% of fatalities involve pedestrians. motorcyclists and cyclists, with males making up 82%. Looks like the men are dying more than men. The highest risk age group was 20 to 29 years old. The University of Ghana research indicates young males are most affected, as they comprise a large share of those on the roads. In June 2024, 12% of fatalities were under 18 years, whilst 88% were adults, suggesting youth remain disproportionately vulnerable. And like I was saying, because young people, a lot of our young people are awake, and they realize that the data suggests it. And so this Bukala business is something that we must all begin to have a certain conversation about. But if you are getting 1,000 naira and 37 road death, and out of that 77% are young people, it leaves us with the question of what is happening to our labor force. We are losing all these people at this stage. The discussion of youth health and well-being would be incomplete without addressing matters pertaining to HIV, AIDS, and sexual health. Notably, in 2023, 27.4% of the 17,774 new reported infections occurred among the youth population. Furthermore, the incidence rate of sexually transmitted infections increased by 32% in 2024. Of particular concern is the observed decline in testing rates amongst young people, which is a trend that requires immediate attention. Another US-based looks like the health authorities will have to help us to do more. Emerging national discourse highlights the growing issues of overweight and obesity among Ghanaians, linked to evolving lifestyle patterns and nutritional habits. Recent evidence indicates that overall prevalence rate of 60.1% overweight and 9.4% obesity in this demographic. Among females, 15.9% are overweight and 22.9% are classified as obese. Among males, the figure are 10.1% and 17% respectively. Higher risk is associated with older, educated, wealthier, and urban residing. In the 10th
Ora George Opariado ebi mo kasaya ni nyina ne kasai na efa ye mebuna hodo omo fa nubone say ye cocaine we bi red blue tramo ne honkro no ba emboa ma mapomode ho nsem timi fa ne tima penfa no chese mpanyifo nhwe ema wonu mani enko ho sanse chinhwe ene bedwem kasa ne dia akoso ene okopi mo suku ahodo ade wo sa abofra ne hia bi a wo betwi ne ho afri sa ne ye ne tibia ne mu no wo mo ye de omo betimi na emom no aka bebre na wo sempanyifo nyeti we de wo hwe sempanyifo be ka omo ntoma abo ano ene afi nwumeku ahodo bi omo oman Ghana ha na kasa kire ne kasatia ne so etimi akoso denden de aboa ama mabu ne hu nsunsu anso ahodo omo fe de bre ni pedua ne se be ya omo betimi atwe omo ho e de afri ho.
Percent reports awarenesses of hard drugs like cocaine, heroin, showing that substance use is a very significant issue on our campuses. Our school authorities are addressing these challenges with responsive measures. Research shows that 36% of academic institutions offer counseling, peer support, drug awareness programs, random checks and referrals. Despite these efforts, the challenge remains significant and requires national coordination, investment, and collaboration across sectors. 36% is arguably inadequate, and so we must do more. If all that is available on our campuses is 36%, then collectively, as a country, we must begin to look at our institutions. A lot of our young people at that stage of their lives are in schools, so that is when we need more counseling services to support whatever we go through. In order to address this concerning trend, the Ministry for Youth Development and Empowerment will collaborate with relevant stakeholders to formulate and execute a comprehensive national strategy targeted at
John Monya for George Opariado and Sami so na yaton credit kan abasisia.
Yo, I'm for and then your mama kwaba at the bar, a KFM musical shopper. You told me, you know, who free a Kumasi Malcolm that Damono, a sunny at the bar at Dumino, Sabran Udu, a Sambra Junction, a Sambra Hotel, Quantana Sope. Now shop no any Sambra Hotel and the Dinja anymore. Would the free Sambra Hotel, a whole sunny at the co, Nankane and Hagan Hono, Annie, a hawk and a KFM musical shop. Ye tosu mi no ye bie no foforo na de e kan ne se emfidie papa etimiche de wode ya sorry de wode goro agoro ahodo tuma de bia wode obehia eye emfidie mechira musical instrument bia no eye KFM ento wo se Ghana muntie Asante man muntie eye KFM musical shop ana sabre ya bie no foforo mo no chan e wo Prempeh 2nd Street. Ufri old man come down na wo sane ede ko adum no ane udu Sambra Hotel kwantane so na wa dane on sani fa so oho ana KFM musical shop yi ewo ye ne Sambra Hotel ana ehwe animo ye twa abrebia
gina me se be ya proud ana se me ye dwa me free Kumasi adum KFM instrument store obi bisa sa se bo me fi odi what to ma woni sida what dey near my papa e gira woni na what to say yes what to no bibi aka wakoma ni nyina free KFM instrument store Kumasi adum se mi gira na me to no ma bitimi nya ho me ka fi se fi papa mu anim na mi gina no wo betro ye ko ma ya do se kana twa nanka kanau ensamfu ayi
Medogbe na mi Ghana duko do ajaple ho duko kata. Mi chonya nyi adeve na mi cho Talent Microfinance Limited Gajradopa. Mi wona susu savings, adishare, school buafo, cashback, ple bubua okata. Nenya be egajom de mi agbo la letie tomegbeko atehun ahoga dodo. Kenenya be egajom vivi la nenya be o gahia ola atehun ava de oga ikene hia fa.
Tanenya be mi foncho mi afa jomu yo kenye mi afa gadodo nyawa. Business loan elemiashi, church finance elemiashi, salary loan elemiashi, eye bubo li kenye personal loan. Nenya be mi foncho business loan a enye gadodo ikemie nana asichalao. Nenya be washigba keke alum eleswe we have talent. Mi pepe gede nwo nenye wo shigba lesua ne woge wo keke gede ji to talent po mo nu me nenye be mi fonchu mi afa salary loan a enye gado mo mi ke mi vuna mi afa jirudu dola nke ga nyo he ya va talent wo pay slip pe bank statement ye kwenye nwi hia o na koko ho salary loan le rate mi to keke akeji church financier personal loan va nenye habobo masoli hama eji fufofo sankuo jitao olila ashibobwe kekeake mie flegeno na no hem v choji nto jinwade wade kwereka mo npopo kai ganyu he ya talent kuna kpohe ya ole chagbagba na do tare talent bena wo gado mo wa anobobwe nami akpenami
Etibe ya nyafi ke talent la
Talent Microfinance Jengo Amegan Shpe Ape Letina Tejibo Hotame
Miape Kapomo Enya 050-129-1298 Allo 050-128-9119 Talent Oga Kwamanu Banta
Talent Microfinance, your channel of wealth.
Since I'm more aqua baby and found KFM TV, as we are 277 and you may edi ama odi ayi guso ejina mani osemo na kane amrado edi ma santimantemo kumase yeye onmunyamfo sampine na wakasa wo che mi se MPP ameni okono science bet na benwa ne subie mu a eya afimpi mienu ne aduonu wotwe e ba betro aba na bibia koye wo no mafa eye yiyo ko matena ya hodo e wo man ga na hana ne e betrechre pa emamra no aye adwuma titu ni wo no ma omo ho ensembe kwa kopi mo makache no etimi eni omo edi sene ese na efata
president ya wa be ya jema president yi beni na kwahwe bo tini chen nyina akwahwe bo enya wie yakotena ba bia ye nyina ya wie nam kakra
Germany nam so de papa
and you build the network until on building network no not the B or the bit me abuano but say could say we grab the ane kwaku ya bad ya mu ye yoko na hwe be ye bi wo every district ya bet be
one district one yoko
yeah one district one yoko why you could be office by office department by department because
bail conditions is be boom boom
and just a Christ ya bona say nem no akofuna basta because what the tell be near the can be say but a worry oh e be say me your SB no the bail conditions
800
million Titi can 8 trillion no. Okay, Professor Mills. Or PPP. We say the old program could paper.
There's a 6 sureties to be justified.
Justified. Mama, we are lawyer for him. I'm tears you. Here, mamma, no near and nanum no there. One tears you. One befi say, yes, uncle, because I said, oh, yeah, you my baby in the pension. One more cambomoa. And so, Japadia. A song 800 million Ghana cedis. Any all cedis so. Into 800 times 10 is saying. And you grow.
Yeah, that one is a big deal.
Now no pay 8 billion. Yeah. Plus times another 10, I call 8 trillion.
That's
let's say Muna me sure say bail conditions shouldn't be punitive. Say they betchumaso. After all, you have to be jingle for passport too. And name so passport systems, you know. Say the I know. There's no way say Obetmi can say oh two can with that passport. And now to say Obeko passport officer or some new passporter, the fingerprints and pop up.
I was a time 7 media ma na ye northern caucus no matenase ani nyina no wo maye nhyiemudie kese o muba be hwe ama ne ma ahodo ebetimi aboa ma tifi mantem etimi afa ne ntoma pefra kɔ nanim puntunyuma e wo sa kwan ne so no bibia na etimi akɔ emu nhyiemu ne ama ne bɔ ne KFM TV ye de to aso sei e de ama.
When I was invited to the High Commission, and the High Commission expressed surprise that as northern members of parliament, we hadn't organized ourselves into a caucus so that we could press home the needed support, demand for the needed support for the North as a bloc. So I made a personal pledge to Paul Edward that after the elections, I will make efforts to have a well-functioning northern caucus, work the majority leader. And so once I assumed office, I made the DPs that after we inaugurated the caucus here in Parliament, we agreed among ourselves to convene a meeting of the DPs and the members of the Northern Caucus for the purposes of being briefed by the DPs on how they could work with us to improve the situation in the North and how we as members of Parliament can position ourselves to take advantage of the work that they are people in that part of the country. Imports about $4 billion worth of food, very high relative to sometimes even our neighbor Burkina Faso and other African countries. And the differences are even more stark when compared to food prices in Europe, food prices in China, food prices in places like Vietnam and the US. And yet, the northern part of this country has huge, vast expanse of arable land.
Yet was once and from more Ediama, na Fimpi me and Runia do no bra. Name people memno ko no more born to us, our brand no more share any more say. I did share no bet medium cocoa motiacho monankum de becodia mono. Sa brand no ana Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia Kane. Man penya be di cho no na na to franka men people menu ko ne koba sa abofra bia na friend se Mariam ne convoy no any one no abofra ni hia ma ya kwenhia kese pa na ye abato na chi na nyoko fie ho koma sika ne ho nkro no ba so mo fan hwe ye maami a ye ne ba ho aken na afin so abofra Mariam no na enedua me no kase ukopemu asante mantem mankofo bia to mo ho agumontene so ye oye kiro mo chese bra oba ho beyi sa sika no asem ni si ye no besi sei enya de se ye Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia asan so etu ni nan esi hobiem enum no mo che se esi foforo no na wo ye bibia mankofo bi no hu se wo dwen abofra ne ho obeyi sika kakra to ho no won ko ho nkɔhwɛ se ne abofra na pomudin ho nsɛm kra no etimitentu we de omo ye che omo ye nyina no omo to nsa frɛ Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia se won san bra biem na hihye mu niema hodo wo so ye ma Mariam timi kɔ nanim na pomudin gyan na mo so no won be ne nemu ya efama
here to unite the general public to tell Baumia enough is enough. Mariam, a victim of his presidential convoy, she's dying slowly in Kumasi, and Baumia is desperately campaigning. Yeah, he did visit the family prior to 2024 elections. He made an official promise, but it was all for the cameras. That's why I'm here, in fact, to leave him with the Holy Quran. The Holy Quran, divine justice, will deal with him drastically. The mother of Mariam, the suffering of Mariam, will be with him, will punish him.
And no asem no yenkwa Environmental Protection Agency aso ye hwema ye montini mu ho nsem kan ne timi kɔ nanim ne di mu no enedua me no kase warehouse ahodo bi a eno ewo hɔ no omo akɔtotu mu a be se enum ni nyina ne se chamfan ahodo a empanyifo edit tabono to so se be ya emfio man foforo mu bepie mu oman Ghana na efom agudie to ebi mu de to no betimi ejai na ekɔ omoko no betimi akɔ nanim na wie mu die no ene omo kyerem se sa warehouse no ene Chinese adihye bia park ni nyina wo hɔ a omo edidi omo daada adwuma no mu ena adihye bi num ti omo na so a EPA fokopi mu a emu nsem ne amane bone yeto aso sei edi ama
semo
Ade then it was ye free one ya ko ye ya pomuden ensemo na enedue Dr. Minta Kando swafo no hwe ya pomuden onsem kai o man Ghana ha wakasa ne nsem ne nyina na o chemsi ekopie mu o mantam binu ma dokita fa hode wo so mo hwe e ma pomuden onsem timi ko na ni na yare se onsem so e fa ne ntima pa fragile an konkwa hode so mo hwehwe no no enya de se eyesa pepepe inti enche bia no wo mo ba be resha focus ye pa de gira no adokita fo ahodo mo mantam ne nyina mu ye beye nsakremu se beye a ebeye balance enti ne nyina ne edugu nsenie ni a sene bi mu nya apobodin ho nsem kɔ nanimo no se bia ya asante mantem a ye ba ye tifi mantem a na se mpono fifi mantem a sa pepepe ene wo se na nya se bia mantam binum de ye ukopie bi mantam binum de on so adokita fo mu nim de ntimi nkɔ nanim no so ne wo nti we de nsakrai na mo ba behwe aye ama bibia na etimi akoyi.
And you are sick and there's no medical doctor, how will you feel? I come from the village. I come from Jaboso. I sit here as a health minister. The whole of Jaboso district, we have only one medical doctor. And then you are put there as the health minister. Then you get the opportunity to post medical doctors, and you still put all of them in the cities. What will be your response to those in the countryside? Those who work for this economy, the cocoa farmers. What will be your explanations to them? And so with the greatest of respect, we are pleading with you. Accra and Kumasi is choked. And from this, consultations are ongoing. We will do redistribution of medical doctors in this country. It's a very tough decision. But please, if you have any opinion or any suggestion, it's welcome. But let's reset the system. Let's all be part of the resetting agenda.
Wasaka sani mwa sansu di tuja o chere mi se ya dokita fo ahodo o mo hwe ni mo se on be hwa ma pomde won se metimi akọ na ni mo no emu oha mo ebupen be se dio wotwen ene e ba betoto o magu nkrase ahodo no se be ya wono mo okro mu apomde ho se me ekọ na ni mo no mo soso etimi enye mu chefa.
Hosting junior doctors, and we are doing not less than 700 of them this year, and the process is ongoing. And I've had some feedback, and as a public servant, when you hear the public, you don't pretend as if you've not heard anything. If there's any response or any explanation, you try to give the public. We are determined to host not less than 80% of these 700 districts. It is not an easy decision, but it's a necessary one. And that's where we are getting the feedback from our dear medical doctors, especially the junior ones. I saw a very long list wanting to go to UGMC. You won't get more than 10% of the list you have brought. I'm being very honest. They must go to the districts to serve. It will interest you to know that about 80% of the medical doctors we have in this country is shared between Accra and Kumasi. 80%. And so if we want to serve our country, the country, and I'm the first person to admit it, the country has invested in some of us. So it is not as if we are punishing anybody.
Afei so ne kasa ye mo no de tudwa o chem se ya akande ne niema hodo ebetimi aboa ma apomuden mu hwem na etimi akọ nanimo no ye hospital ahodo ne becheche ne nyina no etimi dia mom enkoba se baabi benya bebre na baabi enya ketwa bi de wo se omunya e de hwe ma ye apomuden ho sem kọ nanimo no sa pepepe e na wonom e baabe.
So every health facility and the kind of equipment they need. So you cannot go and put an anesthesia machine at the check compound. It is useless. And so government has taken the decision to retool our health facilities, number one. This is just the beginning. We have 50 anesthesia machines. Kolebu, because of the enormity of work they do, we are giving them 8 out of the 50. This is the first tranche, and we'll make sure that what we have for now will be evenly distributed per the needs of the facilities we have in this country. And we've also requested that they take very good care of it. Government is not going to do the retooling alone. We're going to include the private sector. PPP is part of the retooling. Now we are working on dialysis machines. From there, we'll go to the next point. So the private sector will be
our partners to make sure that every health facility in this country has a required number of machines or personnel to be able to execute their work very, very, very well. And I made mention of the posting of our medical doctors. It is true that about half of the medical doctors we have in this country are
John Manya for Kwabna Minta Kando, Ninsemi so near the Apomodin Semno, SC, Diane Wakwa by a bar, yet was so a way ready.
For Fraba, just so new, Yanum. A shaya ain't use fuel. When so yansa oil, near any niki. A shaya gumechina, a ye lip moto, Giomi, Anase Nami, a yemu bia, on Sabeka wa KFM Limited, e wa Ghana ha, lip moto. A bear for cancer be, Yanom, and where Dennis Hanso efe, wash interiors here. Can't hear me, Timothy see, and your friend on lip moto. There were 3 modes of driving. Obey me a switch it, so open 10 more. Obey in the sports mode. So person will save you battery. Obey me is economy mode. That's a woman pentem now open with normal riding so. Your friend is standard. Who charge your battery within 6 hours. A bet to me do a kokumasiaba. Metre air 310 kilometers. Into Winnie how. Obey to me so the 3 hours fast charger. I charge and I'm you fool. Bonama no kokumasiaba. Say no. Me try the akano. Giomi. Ni awon key. Make sure the key in the bell. Wow, just in the interior on it here now. Black and white, papa. Son of FSN. Why screen tinting? A bomb on cano, battery aka. Number who mileage and so also. When so the it took 320 kilometers and sana was our charger. Ubet me a charger in 6 hours. Fast charger 3 hours. I bear for a FDA and so. Ubet me a driving in 3 modes. A year standard, sports, and I say economy. So what pen to say me Yanum choose sports what's it. Ubet me to quite fee hakokubasi. I'm a battery ni biswak because a year 320 kilometers. Who charging in 6 hours, ubet me in your full battery. Now when you fast charge and swap 3 hours pet. You're set. Making sure so okay in the car when you saw walking. Ubi a door and I started. Chili Joby, black and white. Makuma swat. Man san cow dear. You check the akano. Yeah, no. I bet for the animal back on you. The Awiano key. Making sure so key in the band when you saw walking. We no F. Let a new woman so dance. A gray your ma who do me no. The any hakakra, any the mood. As also was screens me no. Wait, and more information and we are canning winning. Answer Bessia Bonum Papa. Your friend entertainment. The Awiano. Anne. And that's over to me so I driving in 3 modes just like the others. Standard and I say sports. So open tema. Car way so. A bet to me to Kwaya Kokumasiaba. 330 kilometers. Which I would crowd to make Jesus on one young kakra and Sunday. Who charging the 6 hours, sir? No. So bet you miss charging 3 hours. If I no fast charge. And you know, KFM Limited. And they are big just so. Fraying, near me own Sankawo the Ententem. So open installment. A high purchaser. And train one nase. We've got you solid. Yanume, on Sabechimia Fidie Mubia, and what KFM Limited. On Sabeke Fidie no what Chiano Kakra. Wait, Unyano Bebia, a KFM Limited. Fraying, ever sort out.
so enda asemu akwa babi ento ansem ne so we dwedie mu emfa maudia national coordinator idema food Ghana program no ho nsem eyo nmunyam for bright dimoji wakasa ne nsem ne nyina no de ko e de ama sane hihye mu no wo mbehwa ama sa adwumedie no etimi akonanim na ye krabehwe e wo man Ghana afin so kire mu niema hodo a mpanyimfo anfo mani anhwe kane enei wo chese ye koye nima ebetimi di oha kakra aba emu nchemo ne nsem a opanyi de to dwa eni.
But as I said, the key issue about planning for food and job is there are no direct target of what will happen to across the value chain of the crops that they targeted. And the input support scheme they are practicing has so many challenges. You understand me? That is where the difficulty is. Because if you want to do input support system, you need to put out strategies in place for groups to be well organized. Otherwise, you distribute and the input that will not go to the groups. The groups must own themselves. There must be ownership of group systems.
Where input here is what? Seedlings and fertilizer or what?
Yes, in agriculture, when we talk about agriculture input, the first key thing you talk about is seeds. Seed is key. What kind of seed that is going to the farmers? At what time the seed is getting to the farmers? That's also very important. So, one, the quality of seeds that you are sending to the farmers and the timely delivery of seed is also very important to the farmer, because you know most of our farmers are seasonal farmers in terms of the rainfall season, and if the rainfall pattern you didn't deliver those inputs at the right time, there will be some difficulties for farmers. So quality seeds, two, timely delivery. And if you want to get quality seeds, it means that quality and proper measurement, you have to put proper measurement in place in area of procurement, because when you are buying volume and you don't put structures in monitoring seeds, people will bring you all kind of things.
Usa engineer head na ye fe dwedi ensem no NC yenda ye ni brasisi ya ba ye wie bibia ewe ni dwedi ensem. Ewie bibia we ni gidi ensem farm out dia ye ko for yamponsa na kache wo ye high life musician e wo my Ghana ha ene ye kase legends a ye de be kan bisanza enwum to no wedi hu dwuma che ye pa wa bonyu bebre na so e wo my mu a ye kakai na ye legends ahodo mu ye high life a ye de no ebeka ho bi na ne dua me no kase no we wia ye mfinhia na eduonum 50 simu no ne nsɛmtwɛfo hia twetwe nkɔmɔ enum na ɔmo de tu dwa ɔmo kyem sɛ wɔn sɛ ɛyɛ 50 na wɔn kyerɛ sɛ wɔadi no de brɛ ne abra na asɛ ne honam no ɛne afenso n'anim dua no asɛ sɛ ne anim no firi tete no saa pɛpɛpɛ na ɔte besi ne no si o deɛ ɛyɛ ne secret ne ne kokɔ mu ade a wɔyɛ nyinaa ne sɛ ne akɔmkyene ɛne brɛ ne abra no no osugu nyame so otwa bi ɛyɛ na wɔtwe mienu ne ho nkorɔ no ba nyinaa na ɔhwɛ de nyame betimi ayama no saa kwan ne so Sanyema we ne keka ho bia masisi a no ntimi kra nyini a 50 na akwa ne se 20 de bia no gya na mo nso a eno ne kokwa mu ade a ensem fofo binum ka ho a wodi tu dwase ye to aso e de
I think sometimes what I do is like sometimes I'll fast maybe for a two week period. I'll fast, no eating for 2 weeks,
like Adam wants to hear what you say. Well,
2 weeks, no food. Yeah. At all. So every year you have to fast. Like sometimes I do it for 21 days. Yeah, and then just cut back on food and everything. That's all. Okay. And then a bit of training, walking, and that's it. I'll go to my farm. I'll be glad. I'll see the chickens and everything, and I'll just laugh. And I think it gives you energy. Yeah. Yes. Wow.
Interesting.
For yampon said no nti o we nyina no ka de etu obi afu bi apese wonyini da body ne fresh na e kama no wo de ane se obebo homode na de bia no wa ma kom kire akoni pedue dim no ne efutu a wo de ama yengina ne nsem so ene na nwime nsem ahodo eboabo no sa kan kese be sumo KFM TV no yɛmfa ne nyinaa no embrɛ wie yɛkɔ no kasɛbɔ n'akyi no yɛmfa asedama aboafo talent microfinance KFM musical center na afi dadaba tech up so mo ebo yɛkyiri ɛdɔm yɛde nsɛm ahodoɔ no etimi ɛde brɛ mo yɛkɔ edie yɛde bibi agya mo ne nyinaa ne sɛ yɛba bɛdi ɛyɛ bronya fashion no KFM TV yɛadwe mo ho yɛdwe mo ho so yɛadwe mo ho yi a ne nyinaa no ɛba bɛboa titiriw ne adwadifo ahodoɔ a mo wɔ man Ghana ha mo dia ne si yɛ ma mo platform no niema ahodoɔ a mo tɔn no ɛyɛ mo adwa tɔn deɛ no mo mbɛbɔ ho dawuro ɛwɔ ha enti fitie na kwa kosisi ebewura ɛyɛ 2026 January bosom ne de atwa to no yɛde akonya no ɛɛto hɔ de ama wo bia pɛ sɛ ɔbɔ wo bibia ho dawuro sɛ wo tɔn adeɛ sɛ wo yɛ adeɛ bibibia ɛyɛ adeɛ ɛde ba montini mu bɛpɛ sika deɛ yɛbia akonya no ɛde ato hɔ ama wo de ane sɛ ɔbɛba yɛ atena yɛ ha yɛ o circle adabraka anaasɛ mpo ɔbɛfa yɛ number no ɛwɔ screen ne so no etimi afrɛ ne yɛndi nkita ho na nhyehyɛ yɛ mu niema ahodoɔ apɛsi yɛn fengu akwan mu ma wo ne tɔn wo niema no yɛyɛ ne saa pɛpɛpɛ ɛde ama wo yɛ bronya donkomi adoma ɛda so enti yɛbɔ ne kran no hu sɛ yɛba abɛtɔn niema ne nyinaa no etimi de ama wo brantem be bookie wo slots be hyɛ mu ntem ne ntimi mbɔ ho dawuro ɛmfa ma yɛbɛdi bronya ɛwɔ sɛ opeska gu ho sika de yɛ enti na we ni akonya yɛde ato hɔ ama obi bia yɛhwɛ w'anim sɛ obetimi aba bɛka busua ne ho ne atɔn niema ne nyinaa no etimi de ama wo yɛ free ɛyɛ November bosumi yɛ mu yɛde kwa akosi January bosumi ne da etwa to January 31st enti bre na yɛndi dwa ɛwɔ saa kwan no ɛso mede mu sie na nwumre edi no ɛyɛ Afia Fosuah Oduahoma Sresrebidi from Afia Macau.